Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of 3D Design, brought to you by the Corona Public Library's Maker Exchange. My name is Mr. Martin, and today we'll be discussing some ideas for multi-piece prints and some tips on putting them all together. Let's get started. First up, we've got a project that might seem pretty simple, but can be quite rewarding, and that is a puzzle. Yes, you can 3D print some puzzles. You can basically print the whole puzzle at once if you space out your pieces correctly, which is pretty nice. So let's say you've got an infant or a child, or even just as an adult, you want to create a really complicated one. You can start by making whatever shape. Here we have two squares, and I've already done a kind of inlet. So you can see where the pieces will match up, and we're just going to add a round end to one of the pieces and then subtract that from the inside of the other piece. So for example, if you wanted to create your own map of the 50 states, you could do that. You can simply design every shape individually, find your own unique way of putting them all together. And so in this case here, we're showing you how to just connect two pieces very simply, fairly quickly, and then you just repeat that process for every piece in your design. For a younger person, you would even then be able to add a handle on the top surface of every piece, further allowing them to create a simple puzzle that they can operate while still remaining challenging to begin with. For more complicated structures that will remain relatively flat, for example, here we have this train set that's built into 3D Builder, the program we're using today. This already comes with some connectors, and this is just another example of how to put together these kinds of pieces. So you see here, you have that one standard connector that looks like two diamonds with a little rod in between. And every single piece has either an inlet or an outlet, and that's what we're going to call them for now. And you'll notice how the pieces fit together. You can create your own custom ones on every piece in your design, which will help you put them together. And now that we've covered horizontal or flat prints here, what about something vertical? What if we wanted to put two long, tall pieces together? Well, here you can see that if we stack them, the pieces may combine. You can print it as one, or you can print them individually if you had longer pieces to connect. In this case, we're actually going to add a little cylinder to the top of the base here, and what that's going to let us do is create a bit more structural integrity where those two pieces connect. Now, if we create a hole in the top portion of this, and it is the exact same size as this base cylinder that we're creating, with a little bit of magic after the print, either by sanding it down or heating or shrinking it to compress it a little bit, we'd be able to fit it inside to where it would attach very firmly without falling off. And that is the goal here. So we're first going to attach it to the base, and then we're going to attach it, or create a hole up top. So once we get this base cylinder to snap correctly, we're just going to resize it a little bit. It's just a bit too wide for my liking. That's going to make it a little bit more difficult to either sand down or fit inside the hole that we create up top. And the important thing is to get the sizing done before you copy and paste it over, since we'll use that copied cylinder to create the hole on the top part. So it doesn't make sense to create the base and eventually have that be a different size than the hole you create up top. Then for sure your parts won't fit together. So here, very simply, we're just going to move this on over. Obviously, it would not print as shown since we have an object floating in midair, which 3D printers can't quite do that just yet. So we're going to line it up. Again, it does snap pretty nicely. And there are two ways to do this. Now, we could subtract from the top portion that I'm doing here, or we could reverse it, and we could instead create the hole using the base cylinder. So making sure that we have the right part selected here. Going to deselect the top portions here and only select that base cylinder. So here we've got it lined up. Deselect those and use the subtract tool here so it gets rid of that space on the base. Now, once again, moving over to the top portion, all we have left to do is to just slide this into place. And you would note that if we were to print these, then those two pieces would fit very snugly together to the point where they would become one piece. Now, the reason you'd want to do this is it would take forever, or your printer can't even print something that is, quite tall. We'll say, let's say a foot tall. It's going to take you a while to print something like that. So let's say you had a lightsaber, or even printing something like a spoon. This would be one way to put those pieces together. So that does it for today's video. If you've enjoyed this content, be sure to check out the rest of our videos on the channel, and as always, we'll see you for the next one. Have a great day.